Most investors are fair-weather sailors. They build their portfolios for a world that only goes up. And when the inevitable storm of a recession hits, their wealth evaporates along with their confidence. On this channel, we don't fear volatility. We harvest it. A machine that only works in perfect conditions is a toy. We are building a fortress. Today, we are discussing the architecture of defense and the power of the sovereign portfolio. The machine-like grind requires you to shift your objective from maximum gain to maximum survival with offensive capability. The 99% are obsessed with chasing the highest possible return during a bull market, often ignoring the structural weaknesses in their foundation. The 1% understand that wealth is won by not losing. If you lose 50% of your capital in a crash, you need a 100% gain just to get back to zero. That is a failure of engineering. The sovereign portfolio is designed to minimize the drawdown so you can maximize the strike. The first pillar of a sovereign portfolio is anti-fragility. Most people confuse robustness with sovereignty. Robustness is being able to withstand a hit. Anti-fragility is getting stronger because of the hit. In a recession, a sovereign portfolio doesn't just hold its value, it provides the liquidity to acquire distressed assets at a fraction of their worth. Your machine should view a market crash as a massive sale, not a tragedy. To do this, you must have uncorrelated assets, investments that do not move in lockstep with the general stock market. Next, we address the moat audit. Every asset in your portfolio must have a moat, a structural advantage that protects its cash flow during a downturn. If you own a business or a rental property, does it provide a non-discretionary service? People stop buying luxury watches in a recession, but they do not stop paying for housing, utilities, or basic infrastructure. A sovereign portfolio is heavy on needs and light on wants. We build our floor on the necessities of human existence, because those are the last systems to fail. Then there is the currency hedge. True sovereignty means you are not dependent on the stability of a single government or a single currency. The 1% diversify their jurisdictional risk. They hold assets across different borders and in different forms: precious metals, hard commodities, and decentralized stores of value. If your entire net worth is tied to one fiat currency, you aren't an engineer. You are a hostage to central bank policy. You must build a machine that functions regardless of who is printing money. The liquidity mandate is the fuel for the sovereign portfolio. In a recession, cash is king, but not as a long-term store of value. Cash is the strike force. A sovereign portfolio always maintains a strategic reserve of liquid capital. While others are being forced to sell their assets to survive, the sovereign engineer is using their liquid reserve to expand their territory. This is where the 1% rule pays its biggest dividends. By living below your means and treating savings as a mandate, you have the dry powder to buy when there is blood in the streets. The psychology of the sovereign portfolio is one of clinical calm. When the headlines are screaming about a global collapse, the engineer is looking at the blueprint. You don't make emotional decisions because you've already modeled the outcome. You know exactly which assets will hold, which will dip, and which you will acquire next. You have removed the panic variable from your machine. To execute this, you must audit your risk tolerance with brutal honesty. If a 20% drop in your net worth makes you want to sell everything, your portfolio is not sovereign. Your emotions are still in control. You must engineer your asset allocation to match your psychological breaking point. If you build a machine that is too complex for you to manage under stress, it will fail when you need it most. Stop playing the game of more and start playing the game of sovereign. When your wealth is recession-proof, you stop being a victim of the economy and start becoming an architect of it. You move from a state of anxiety to a state of absolute authority. The storm is coming, it always is. The question is, have you built a shelter or have you built a fortress? Build the defense, secure the sovereignty, master the machine. Is your portfolio ready for the storm or are you just hoping for the best? If you're ready to build a fortress that grows while the world stalls, subscribe and join the Wealth Blueprint. The machine-like grind doesn't stop. We will see you in the next deep dive.